Hello and welcome to September's newsletter. So, gosh, we're coming into our springtime down here in New Zealand, and wow, it's really lovely to see everything just blossoming. We're at that lovely time of springtime where the lambs are out, the daffodils are out, the blossom is coming out. I think everyone just feels a little bit renewed and a little bit rejuvenated from what's been going on, from being cooped up, locked down, locked in, all of those things, which for us having to do that through wintertime was actually not too big a deal, but because we'd be hibernating anyway. But you know, with springtime coming in, it's just great to be able to just be out there and just to see the beautiful newness that is around us. So the energy for August has been really interesting for me. I have to say, I've come from one really in-depth process of searching and trying to find my inner self and facing my fears and all of that sort of thing, to just having lots and lots of epiphanies, lots and lots of thoughts popping into my head, following that breadcrumbs, if you like, and then seeing how that path would then just open up to me. And I'm really delighted with the masterclass. That was one of those thoughts that just popped into my head. And to the beautiful people, the lovely collection of people that joined me in August to talk about intuition and to talk about joining those or following those breadcrumbs and seeing where the path leads you and what is intuitive and what is just your thoughts, because I think that's where people tend to get a little bit lost in, is that just my ego talking, or is it actually my intuitive self talking to me and giving me guidance? So there's been a real process of me following all of that energy throughout this month. And I think with August, in looking at fear, looking at, well, what do I fear? And is it my survival needs? Am I coping? Am I able to support myself through this really interesting time? Or how do I pivot to support myself through this interesting time? And I think that for a lot of you out there, that is one of the things that came up in the masterclass was, well, is it my fear-driven thoughts or is it intuitiveness? And how do I cope with that? How do I deal with that? We are in a real sense of change with elections coming up. We're still in a change of recognizing diversity within humanity, of feeling more connected to different forms of community that are out there, people of different color or race or creed. And we're still developing a sense of brotherhood, if you like, towards each other, and sisterhood towards each other, in that we are actually all just human, and we're facing some really deep issues. And how does that impact us all, and where does that impact us in our lives, and how can we then support that change by being a little bit more proactive or a little bit more caring or loving or kind, as we've seen being advertised out there right now. So August for me was a very productive month. It seemed to flow a little bit better. I definitely feel that in not or no longer is maybe a better way to put it, no longer holding on to fears, then everything suddenly became possible. And that was really good. I enjoyed that whole process. And going back to watching for those spiritual connections, not just what my intuitive self is saying, but people or things coming into my life. What meaning does that have? So one of the things I have done is I've sort of reconnected to The Secret, the book The Secret. It's been out for a long, long time. And just working through the process of how our needs are met and how they are met, and not necessarily doing vision boards or creating manifestation boxes or cutting things out and pasting them together. Not that, but just watching people coming in, watching my thoughts, watching who comes in to answer those thoughts, and then seeing the doors that pop open. And one of the things that we did do in August was Mike and I went to cinema. We went to see the movie Dare to Dream, and it's The Secret. And so it's called The Secret, Dare to Dream. And it's just a lovely, lovely little movie about people meeting, and the bigger picture comes in at the very end as to why they came into your life, and how when we change our mindset and things become a little bit easier. So for myself, in letting go that sense of fear, things have just become even easier. And although, from a business perspective, it's not easy, but it becomes a little less frightening, a little more doable, a little more achievable. So it's a lovely little movie. I would highly recommend it. I don't know if it is still here in Christchurch, but it was one of those movies that made you think, and I think it makes you think differently about The Secret. It gives you a bit more of a broader perspective. In fact, it almost reminded me more of the Celestine prophecy and the principles in the Celestine prophecy and how that works, which is a similar mindset, if you like, between The Secret and the Celestine prophecy. And there is a movie and the Celestine prophecy that you can watch on YouTube. But this one has, I think The Secret, Dare to Dream has multi-levels of looking at people who are fear-based, looking at people who are truly optimists, looking at people changing from being the glass half empty to the glass half full. So we change our mind. If you change your mindset, then things just seem to look different or become a little bit more possible. And that's what I felt this particular month has been about. Things have been more possible with new avenues opening, new therapists joining Energize, which is wonderful, new students joining the online class, which is also wonderful, a wonderful group of people coming to the masterclass, and that was amazing. And just, it's been a real flow this month, a real flow. So I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been a good month. It's also been a fast month. It's just sort of disappeared. So our masterclass, so thinking about the masterclass and following my intuitive aspect of, well, how do we take this forward? I've done lots of VIB classes before. I've had the Cosmic Classroom. I've had lots of different things in my past. But the masterclass, I feel, has a different driver, and there's a different energy around the students, or the depth to the students that are joining, which is really interesting to me. It's really heartwarming, actually. And so I asked the team that were there, that had joined me, to say, well, what is it that you want to focus on for the next masterclass? Because that would be the driver for me, is whoever comes in on the first masterclass, they may not come to any more, but what did they get out of it? What would they like to see? What would they like to look at in terms of them mastering themselves? So one of the ladies who I'd had lots of interaction with before the masterclass, and it was lovely to see her there. And so her feedback was to maybe look at the Akashic Records. And that has led me on lots of delving into the meaning of the Akashic Records. What are the Akashic Records? It's also made me really look at my Buddhism, or my Buddhist beliefs, my Buddhist principles, Buddhist practices, whatever you want to call them, because the conscious continuum is the Akashic record in really simplistic terms. So I'm looking forward to exploring with my students through the masterclass, what are the Akashic records? Can we mend the past to heal the now? Can we mend the past to heal our future? Can we, in what we do right here and now, influence our future? And there's a difference between karma and the Akashic records. They are two very different things. And I think that's going to be an interesting topic as well within the masterclass. So I'm really excited about this topic. I'm really excited to be really expanding on some of the work that I've done in my Soul Seed sessions. So for people who'd come and book a Soul Seed session, where we would go up into the astral planes and connect to our soul self. For those that have been on a soul train journey, meditations that I've done in the past, again, with that one-to-ones, usually with the one-to-ones, I think that all ties into the Akashic records and what they are. So I'm really, really excited about that next level. I think as we come into September, I have to say, energetically, there is a sense of quietness. People are waiting. We're waiting. We're either waiting to come out of lockdown, we're waiting to come through elections, we're waiting to see results, we're waiting to see if things pick up, we're waiting, we're in a waiting. And that's a very interesting time, because it is a time when we are waiting. And I would ask you all to really think about this. Whilst you're in that waiting room, or whilst you're on the siding and you're not on your soul journey right now, we're parked up. Now is the time to maybe look at something like The Secret or the Celestine Prophecy to change the way you think, because that will absolutely have a positive impact on your Akashic record, and you will be changing the now and changing the future. So there are some tools whilst we're waiting. We're waiting to see who's going to lead us into the next 4 years, both, certainly for New Zealand, also for America, which is the big player. The whole world will be waiting for America. But if you find that you are in this waiting room where you can't quite get forward, you've got plans, but they're not quite here, or you want to get things done, but you have to wait, then think about what it is that you think, how you present yourself. Are you the glass half empty? Are you the glass half full? Can you change your sense of self or how you think to a way that when you do eventually reconnect to your tracks, man, you're up and running, you're off and running. I see it with our family business. We're moving into brand new workshop premises and offices. And I see things ramping up. We've been in waiting from the moment that we've signed the business, the lease. And now all the dominoes are just lined up. So it'll be all go from Wednesday this week. And just that change. But I can also see that things are changing around the business. I can see our way of thinking. We've changed our business model financially. So that has an impact, and it has a really positive impact for us. So that changing a perspective, changing a way of doing something, changing a way of thinking about something really can put you back on the tracks again. And there's a sense of excitement building up. So in this time of full moon coming, we've got all sorts of planetary conjunctions. If you do feel that at the moment nothing's quite gelling together, then think about or look at how you're thinking about those changes. And it might be that you just need to modify the way that you think, that then allows the energy to align and open up, and things will start moving again. So really interesting time. But again, I think symbolically for us here in New Zealand in particular, we are coming out of our winter, coming into our spring. So we are shifting emotionally and mentally, and what will be physically, from a time of hibernation into a time of planting our seeds, investing in ideas, growing ideas, fertilizing those ideas, feeding those ideas with more ideas, planning and preparing, so that when we come to our summer months, we should start to reap the benefits of everything that we have put together in this spring months. So it's an interesting time, a really interesting time to sort of think about what's happening around you and where you're going. A couple of really good tools, which I'll just get my mobile phone. A couple of really good tools which I've invested in, I have to say. So I have actually just downloaded the Super Secret app. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Not really, Phyllis. That didn't work very well. No. So I have downloaded the Super Secret app, it's called, on iPhone, on iTunes. And that's all about your gratitude. It's all about being really grateful for what you have, because once you see what you have, then you live a life that doesn't have lack. If you only focus on what you don't have, then you're always going to live a life of lack. So I've actually found that app really, really useful, sorry. And I've also got the Secret Money app as well. And that one is it's a really interesting process. There's one part of there where it's about money that you receive, and you don't really think about receiving money, but all those petrol vouchers or discounts at the till, or someone shouting you for a coffee, or you go with your coffee loyalty card and you find you've got a free coffee. So I've just added all of those into my money received, and it's amazing how that's up into the thousands of dollars in a very, very short period of time. And I think that's really interesting as well. It just changes our mindset about money doesn't always go out. It comes back to us in different ways. And for that, you feel a bit more abundant or a bit more grateful. So then I go back to my gratitude and I give thanks for my coffee vouchers or whatever it is that I happen to be getting. So different mindset. Now is the time. Now is the time, whilst we're in this transition from one season to the next, to start to think more positively and productively. Plant those seeds, pick up your seeds. Don't be frightened to invest in them, and then give them everything that they need so that they have room to grow and time to grow. And I'll just go back to the phrase time to grow, because I'm quite an impatient person. I'm defrosting a fridge today. And I go and check on it every 5 minutes, because I really want that big chunk of ice just to fall off. But so that's my impatientness. It's going to take all day for this big chunk of ice to fall off. But for me, I just want it done now. So think about how you need to invest in the seeds that you want to plant, and be really realistic in terms of how you want that to germinate, how long it's going to take to germinate. I know for myself, I've given myself a brand new project. And so I'm looking at January or February next year before I launch that brand new project. But I'm giving myself from now until then to work on all the connections, all the dynamics of it, and how it's going to look, so that when I launch it, then that's it. It's going to be launched. It's going to work, and it's going to be appealing, and it's going to be right, rather than doing something sort of half-heartedly, and then you have to step back and start all over again. So yeah, give yourself plenty of time in this time of waiting to manifest, and to think cleaner or clearer about what it is that you want. As per usual, the online academy is out there for those who are interested. In the newsletter, there will be the link for the masterclass. Places are limited. I get the feeling that this will be a popular class. It will be on the 23rd of September. So there's plenty of lead-in time. The emails will go out. So you can register via this newsletter and get in, because I think with the Akashic Records, I think people are really interested about the past lives. How do we heal our past lives that then affects us in this lifetime, and how does that create a new life? So there's all of that dynamic going to be discussed. And you never know, we might actually be able to do a little bit of a past life healing as well. We'll see if we've got time. Or for those who do register and attend, then I might do a recording to take them through a past life healing as well in the masterclass course, which is online. So looking at the online platform, get yourself registered, get in there, have a delve, have a try. There's lots of free classes to utilize, and invest in yourself. I'm really enjoying reinvesting in myself and revisiting concepts again. The Secret's been out for years and years and years, but revisiting that has made me think about it and made me look at it just slightly differently. And I feel I'm getting more out of it now because it's an older, wiser head on my shoulders than it was back then. And just really enjoying the manifestations that are occurring. So it's an exciting time, guys. And I hope it's exciting for you. And if you are in a period of change, think about how you're thinking about that, and then possibly changing your thoughts around that change that might then help bring in your change even quicker. So until the next time, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you the next time in October. Bye for now.